on?
Hey everyone, Randi Gaston here with the first ever live stream. This is episode 2 of the Ganja Talk podcast. Decided to go live this week without doing a pre recording and just drop some ganja information. With me, not for now, I got Pharaoh Smokes and I got Michigan Native. Bless up, and thanks for coming on the stream with me.
For
What's
sure,
up,
for
brother?
sure.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers,
Yeah,
brother.
cheers. So, Pharaoh was just asking what's everyone smoking on. I haven't smoked yet, so I got nothing yet. But I've been growing some purple skunk and some sour diesel that seems to be lovely right now.
Mm, sounds real nice.
Very nice.
It's really what I need to look for, man. A nice skunk strand, old school. I want it. I'm talking about. I want it to reek. I definitely want something really stanky and nasty.
Nice. Um, I got sour diesel here, but it doesn't have like you know the difference when it's grown full organic without.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit different. You can based on the different farmers here, you can taste the difference, you can know the difference, you can't even know where it's coming from.
Mm, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to roll up some Asia orange I just harvested.
nice.
So,
And just as a disclaimer, most, if not all, of the individuals in this live stream, we grow organic. We make our own nutrients. We just like that organic touch to life.
Right.
right.
Definitely. And what I'm doing, I just created a soil. Um, the plants are loving it. It was really a blessing to be able to make it and get some insight on how to make it swell. I didn't
Yeah,
want
we it would be best if we touch on that as well because a lot of people here been asking me, how do I grow? How do I grow? What do I need to grow? Do I need to get this? Do I need to get that? And I'm like, I'm the worst person to ask because I grow lazy. Like, most of my preparation is like done months before, where I'll just set up a batch of soil, set up some nutrients, brew some compost tea, and forget that.
right.
And then when it's time to putting in the seeds, now I already got some soil built, so it's like, okay, take a bunch of seeds, germinate them in my closet. I like germinating in my closet. It's basically getting that napkin in a Ziploc bag, putting the seeds on the napkin, wetting that a bit, folding that up, not too tightly, and just putting it in the Ziploc bag, put it in the back of the closet, and I'm good to go.
Right.
Then I got the soil, which is all organic, plant based. So it's basically some of the dirt from here mixed with compost, mixed with whatever peelings I can get. Just basically a mixture of organic material broken down to add nutrients to the soil.
Right. That's that's a good method. There's so many methods for popping seeds out there that there's really no right or wrong way to do it. Uh,
That's true.
Me personally, I consider I think that the seed going straight in the soil, it creates a symbiotic relationship that allows um, it to already just thrive in its environment. So that's why I plant my seeds directly into the soil. Um, I have tried the paper towel way. I've soaked beans, dropped them in a shot glass. Uh, I mean, there's so many different ways you can do it, but it's really it all comes down to what works for you.
That's true.
All right.
Nighttime on that. What up?
Cheers.
Much
I,
love,
I,
man.
I pop them in water, to be completely honest. I leave them there 2, 3 days max, and then I'll just put them in the solo cup until they pop
Right.
from the earth, pretty much. At
See,
that
so
point,
right inside of that right there, we have three different styles of all popping our beans. um,
Yeah.
which the versatility of it is all. It's just a beautiful thing.
But at the same token, in my water that I'm popping my beans in, I throw a little bit of bioharmonic tonic, which is it's a bunch of good bacteria and some stones and everything, and it it's hard to explain, but I think that helped with my quickness that they popped.
Right.
Best up Nitro Nomad, best up Mr. Green Pots.
Mr. Green Pot,
Cheers.
up. What's going on? Cheers. Oh, shoot. Excuse me.
Don't die on me on the live stream.
I know. Straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, inside of making my own soil, I also what I did was I started with a Pro Mix HP, which is
Mhm.
basically it's peat moss and it has mycorrhiza in it. Um
Really.
and perlite, you're right. I started with that as a base. From there I added a big bag of uh worm castings, farmer's compost, and um azomites. I put some hydroton in there for some extra aeration.
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, like these autos I got going right now, I've never ran autos, but the ones that I do have going, they're loving it. The seedlings are loving this soil. I mean, they're growing superb, nice, beautiful green. Um, you can tell that they're getting everything that they need right now. I'm thinking that it will probably run or last me without re-amending or top dressing that pot for maybe 3 weeks to a month.
Oh yeah.
That's a good mix.
And like I said, it's not hot. I just started a tea and I put a handful of the soil in it. Basically, a compost worm casting soil. Um, I added some mycorrhizae and some dry molasses.
That seems hot indeed. Um, Soil making down here is a bit different. We don't like as much as we have the Pro Mix, mix with Prolite and whatever. I get a better understanding when I make my own soil of what's going in. I can ensure that it's organic. So as I get some of the soil here, I'll have some of the trash, not really trash, but like
Scraps.
eggshells,
Hmm.
whatever I get from the sink added to it for calcium, magnesium, potassium, whatever the case. I get some biochar, which is either coal, not really coal, but like when they make coal down here, we got like little chips of coal shells, we got some ash. It's basically a mixture of all the organic materials that we can find here in Jamaica to use. The
Right.
worm casting
I'll,
recently has been a thing. We recently did some worm farms. They've been breeding like crazy. We got the red wrigglers, and with that, they break down most of what we put in there, and then we take the compost from that, mix with the worm castings, and we add it to our soils. I've done some double cheese clones, and the clones seem to be loving the organic soil. Like even like we normally run it for a week before we put them in soil so that they can have some good roots on them. Well, 5 days, 3 days after we see that initial root structure being formed, pop it in the soil and they're basically up, no drooping, no nothing.
right. And everything that I put in there is 100% organic, man. I actually use a premium bag of biochar as well. Um, and it's not hot, man. Like I said, it's not hot at all. It's full of microorganisms, microbes, and all of that stuff. So it's definitely a good mix. I wanted to ask you today to go in a little bit more on how you do the cloning with the coconut.
Okay, so we have two methods here. It's either aloe or we recently got some Clonex.
Right.
So we either make a cutting, stick it in some Clonex, and stick it in some cocoa coir that we make, basically shredded coconut husk. We get it from the trees and we break it down, shred it up, and we got a like fine dust mix with fibers in it. So we put the cuttings in there with the Clonex and keep it wet, keep it moist, not really too watery, but we keep it moist enough so that there's water in there for the plants. And I said within 7 days we get a good root structure being formed. Other from that we use aloe vera, which we can get anywhere because it grows naturally here.
Right.
And we take a cutting of the aloe vera, strip away the green, get the pulp, stick the cutting in there, and we're good to go.
And for anybody that's great information, but for anybody that doesn't know what's going on in Michigan native gardening with his light flickering, his guarding is imitating lightning right now as we speak. So
It's got lightning and cloud channels, sun up, sun down. It does a lot of cool things that nature does.
right. And with Michigan native being the only well now he's an organic, but he is a hybrid grower. He
Hmm.
knows he knows salts as well, but I want him to kind of go in and tell us
It,
about how you do your system and
it's
even what you're doing the outdoors organic.
it's actually kind of beautiful because the same reasons that you don't use like ProMix HB is the same reason that I do because I want full control of what they eat as well.
Oh,
But I have a hybrid system with the synthetics with salts. I hit them light with that, but I also hit them with the organics, the down to earth. But my organics is it's like it serves a double purpose because it's also my IPM regimen.
mm,
So I don't hit them too heavy with either, but my end product, I don't have to flush and I have a good, clean tasting medicine.
right.
That's
Are you
good.
using
That's it. Actually.
do you
Go
use
ahead.
labs, Randy?
What's that?
I was asking Randy if he uses labs.
Hmm.
I actually don't as much as I want to dabble it. I used to. I
Right.
should say I used to like buy my bottled nutrients, buy my labs, but I found it cheaper and easier to like break it down here. There's so much natural stuff around. Digging around, I can find mitos, I can grow my own microbes. It's just got a bit easier getting the stuff that I want for my plants in terms of potassium. We got banana trees, we got bananas, everything else we just source all around. We got the fruits, we got the herbs,
Right.
um, even the natural pesticide that we use is basically growing certain mints around the plants, like black mints, peppermints, stuff like that. We got neem trees like crazy. So getting the neem to grow, getting the neem as mulch, or even just putting it in a spray bottle and just spring around the crop or foliage spray, that's basically one of the easiest methods. I'm trying to look at a more sustainable method here in Jamaica because you don't have access to the labs that you guys have. We don't have access
Well,
to certain
yes you
nutrients.
do. The labs that I use are I make them myself. It's derived from rice water, and
Mm.
I add milk and wait for it to separate. And it's lactic acid bacillus. It's a form of Korean natural farming.
Oh,
Um, I can definitely send you a video, man, on how to make it, man, and it works great. The plants love it. It's a natural IPM and pest management. Um, bugs hate this shit. I'm talking about it's a powerhouse in the garden, and it's all organic.
yeah.
And
We have our own method of Korean farming as well. The whole milk thing that you said, yeah. Get the milk, sour it up,
rice
get some
water and
rice
milk,
water, and just add the two. Foliage spray is bomb for that.
right?
Trust me.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I do. I
Other
feed.
from that, I've used like fermented plant juices. like getting the blossoms from certain striving plants around, getting the like certain mixtures. Either it's the leaves from the banana tree or whatnot. How I do that one is basically getting some sugar and just adding it to the component that I have, whether it be the plant blossom, whether it be plant leaves itself, putting that and letting that ferment for a month, draining that off, and then adding like a teaspoon to a gallon of water.
Right. Hell yeah. Yeah, the labs that I make, I feed them as a foliar, and I also feed it in the water. Um, it's basically you letting the rice ferment for a couple days until it starts to smell like bread or sweet bread, white bread. Um, and from there, you add the milk in, and once that separates, it gives you this greenish tinted liquid that's it doesn't smell bad or cheesy or anything. You extract that, and from there you feed it and use it as a foliar. And man, it works great. Like I said, the plants love it. You can't go wrong. It'll repel pests, and it's also good for all around plant health.
That's some good advice. I
But
said a
again,
lot of people down here literally ask are one of the most recent comments or opinions that I got from a friend. It's yeah, I can't be bothered growing weed. It's too much effort, too much time. I'm like, then you're kind of doing it wrong. If it's too much effort and too much time, you gotta readjust what you're putting in, what is making it such a hard process. Because as simple as you say, getting the rice water, we cook rice almost every day down here. Getting the rice water for that and putting it down in a bottle or something will actually help with your overall microbe level, getting certain nutrients to the plant. And for me, it's just easier. It's one of the easiest ways of just making sure that you're on top of your grow. It's I don't beat it every day. Every day I'm adding something to the garden. It's like once a week after I've made that mixture, I just add it in and see what happens a week after.
right. We got Mr. Green Pots. He said he uses organic amendments from Mother Nature. I use
Nice.
uh, I use down to earth and build a soil.
Yeah, I can relate to Mr. Greenpots because I said most of my growing down here has been from Mother Nature itself. Uh, we have for nitrogen, other from the grass that we have here that has some high nitrogen content, some growth hormones. We have cassava leaves. We have various different plants that we just add to the teas to give us that nutrient mixture that we are looking for, whether it be high nitrogen, high phosphorus, high magnesium, whatever the plant needs. We create separate mixtures based on what we have around us to give us that natural feed that we are looking for.
Right. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I don't use anything that's from bottles or anything like that. All dry amendments and organics for me. I want to get into trying to make some ferments as well.
That's one thing I'm getting ready to play with too is some stinging nettle ferments.
Mm,
They have really good IPM properties and it makes a really good fertilizer as well.
right. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that comes out, man.
And that's
Yeah.
something that it grows naturally where I'm at, but I'm growing it indoors to have a constant source. That way I can be sustainable about it as I can be.
Right. Uh,
As, Go ahead.
when you're making your worm bins, how do you go about doing that, Randy?
All right. Worm bins, we either get a 5 gallon bucket or we may have some small drums, like barrels that you normally use for shipping, plastic ones to be exact. We normally get the plastic ones and we'll start off with the 5 gallon bucket to get them all situated, feeding. Then we'll cut the plastic barrel in half, turn the top half upside because we have those that come like, how should I put it, curved at the top. So the top is a bit smaller, so when you turn it upside down, it just fits right in. And we just take the cover, we mesh it off, so get a big enough mesh to let the worms pass through, but not that big to have everything falling into the bottom half.
Right.
So once we're situated with the top half being filled with the worms, the broken down compost and everything, put that in, and we put new food or whatever veggies or whatever they're gonna eat down at the bottom so that they migrate. They usually take like a week or so to migrate. So have them on top migrating to the bottom, and once we see that they've most of them have migrated, we take from the top and we feed it to the plants. So it's like simple in my book, but most people won't realize what, like, got some people come through the greenhouse the other day and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "We're growing worms. We got a worm farm going on." It's basically getting worms, getting some trash material, getting whatever we want them to feed on so we can add it to the plants, and having them break that down, putting them in like a separate situation or a separate container thing where they feed down, go down, eat the new stuff, and we take from the top at all times to feed our plants and or make compost teas.
How long would you say from start to finish on that project right there before you could actually start collecting your finished product to be able to use?
Took us a month and a half, a month the shortest time because these worms have been eating like crazy. In the 2 weeks of having them transferred to the new food or to the new container, they literally started breeding already.
That's
So,
amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. See, I thought it would have been a lot longer process or something like that. You'd be waiting almost 2 or 3 months to be able to have a usable product.
And in the month of having that breakdown, we've separated a little bit of the compost that was created, or a bit of the worm material that was created, and we added that to some water to make the teas. We added some aloe vera, some merengue, and that worked wonders. We saw not only stretching and branching, but like the leaves themselves, the fan leaves got bigger. They got to my hand size, and I don't got small hands.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up. So, what kind of things are your favorite things to feed the worms?
It would be a mixture of fruits, bananas, pineapples, whatever fruits we have available, along with some eggshells, some grass, some bamboo leaves.
Mm,
Basically, whatever we can get from the environment, and we're like, okay, before we add it, we're like, okay, what we need to feed these buggers.
right,
Okay, we got bananas, we got these fruits. Okay, we get some yam or some potato peelings. We add that in, so they get most of what's coming out of the kitchen.
right. So down in Jamaica, what? How do I say this? What environmental difficulties do you face upon growing outdoors in Jamaica?
Other from the bugs,
I mean, bugs, powdery mildew,
not
mold.
much, not much
Um,
powder mildew. We haven't had such a hit on the powder mildew in a long while.
right.
But it's just like the bugs, and then the difference in the weather patterns. We'll have sunny day, then later on in the evening it's raining like crazy. So it's just basically the different climate changes, the bugs down here, making sure that we're on top of our pest management.
Hmm.
From that, it's just overall making sure that we got the right soil. We have the pots available for them when it's time to transfer over. We get a 12-12 light cycle yearly. Gets a bit longer in summer, but we have a decent amount of light hitting the plants. Got our amendments, we got our stuff in. It's not that difficult in my book. It's basically putting the plant out there and let nature take over.
Right, right. That's what's up, man. Do you have any problems with your soils being hot, considering that you're making them yourself from organic matter?
I've not ran into that problem for a while now. I created an over hot mixture when I got some stuff added like dolomite lime, um, humic acid, those kinds of stuff. But realizing I can naturally get the humic from like the manure, waste matter from certain animals made that problem a bit easier. Uh, I'm not seeing like how should I put this? The plants are receptive to the organic mixture in my book. They've eaten up most of what we've given them and they're still feeding. It's like feeding a child that doesn't want to stop eating. I realized that with certain strains like the OG, the Gorilla Glue, certain skunks, they eat a lot. Right now the double cheese has been putting on more root structure than we can imagine.
You still there?
Oh,
Um,
hopefully I didn't lose him. Yeah, my Agent Orange is a heavy feeder like that too.
ridiculous.
It'll almost scare you if you're not ready for it.
I'll
It'll
tell you, bro. It scared me. I didn't know what to do with that plant. I did not know. I was at a point. It eats so much. It was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just
like
taking it,
no, it was still just yellowing. It's still eating itself.
right?
It wasn't even feeding it, I guess, enough, and I thought it was more than enough. Uh,
Right. Needs a midnight snack and two breakfasts, three lunches, and
yeah.
four
Like
dinners
it's like a pregnant lady that won't stop.
for sure. But it's got a beautiful flavor on the finished end, so I'm very proud of that one. After the recent change with the more diverse sugars and everything.
All right, I don't know what
Hopefully,
happened.
hopefully Randy can make it back.
Stream don't end until he ended.
Right.
But outside of that, man, if you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them. Uh, this is Randy Gaston's Ganja Talk, and we're definitely here for the community.
100%.
But Randy dropped out, but we'll keep the show going for him. It's great to be back in the mix. Uh, can you explain some of those plants that you got in front of the camera, maybe?
Oh yeah, the ones right there in front are my Alaskan thunderfuck. I've been perpetually growing her for 2 years now, and I can't wait to see the outcome of this run because this is the first run that's had the diverse sugars, and it changed the flavor profile of my Agent Orange. I can't wait to see what it does to my ATF because it's one of my favorite strains for sure.
Definitely. You have that MTF coming soon.
That's gonna be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my unicorn right there. That's my unicorn. I can't wait. I I wanted that one since I what started growing, but I settled for the ATF at the beginning because the MTF is one of the hard ones to find.
Right. It definitely, it definitely has been kind of hard finding it. I'll definitely tell you that one. It's a blessing we was able to find it. So,
Right, for sure. And
Sorry about that, my phone overheated.
welcome back, brother. It's all good. We kept the show going for you.
looks
That's good, that's good. Thank you all.
very
Uh,
much.
So
was telling the chat that if they had any questions, that they're free to ask them. No questions a dumb question. You know, we answer all questions.
that's
Good
true.
for the community.
So this podcast is mainly around like growing, and I'll be dropping some information about JA. Um, most might know me that from the previous YouTubing that I'm a Jamaican grower, but while I disappeared for the 2 years, like the avatar, I was training organically, lifting them organic weights, learning more, and basically allowing the plant to teach me more. At the same time, I got to see what's going on in the cannabis industry.
Nice,
Very
Yeah.
nice.
man. Like I said,
Yeah,
thanks.
like in 2018, like 2 years ago, even during the whole live streaming thing, I went to my first Ganja Cup.
Right,
It, like seeing the different companies, the different people involved, the people coming in. We have like I didn't get to go to the 1 year after, but that one taught me a lot. The year after, I heard people from Japan, Italy, Spain,
man.
Germany, Russia. We got so many people coming into Jamaica that it's no joke. Jamaica has been the ganja capital of the world. And once we are opening up our doors, people are basically trying to look in, trying to come through and be like, hey, what's up, Jamaica? Wagwan. We can grow now, we can grow with it now, we can taste some of the weed what we hear our grandfather talk about.
Some of that good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hope one day to be able to test the quality down there with you.
Definitely.
Oh, I know, man. I'm hoping to set up my legal farm with the CLA. That's our governing body. Listen, it's not hard. What I realize it's just organization. They have the
Right,
farm set up for cultivation, processing, and the different ways of getting in. You get a pre-farm, preliminary license before getting your overall license. The preliminary license allows you to set up the area, set up the overall base of operations. Then they come in and give you the final approval. One of the things they want you to have a downstream buyer, which is I can understand that. You want to be able to know if this farm is going to be up and running and supplying anyone. But it's just getting the paperwork done, getting the proper requirements for the farm setup. You're supposed to have a 6 foot fence, um, distance from certain public places like schools, churches, just little requirements needed so that they can give you that green light.
right. Makes sense,
But
man. I'm glad you're learning the ins and outs of it and about to get it rocking, man. Definitely.
no, it's
It's a
I
blessing.
want to create an industry, but I don't want to just say, "Oh, I have a ganja farm now," and maybe 5 years down the line, it's giving me trouble because I didn't put in the necessary tools or I didn't cross my T's and dot my I's properly. So I'm very picky when it comes on to that. I want to do business, but I want to do it right. So learning the industry, learning what it takes to become a part of the industry, and going around the big boys. The big boys here we have J Kana, Epican, Island Strains, Kaya, Ethiopia. Those are the five off of my head that I can name that have been doing stuff here in Jamaica.
Right. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, get it going. Make sure you're doing your thing, bro. You already know.
I'll have to.
It's interesting to see that Jamaica's stepping it up on that level as well.
Yeah, we've been stepping it up on the level where even Afria, Canopy, Aurora, Organic Green Dutchman, um, I could list, I'm gonna get the list one day, but there have been up to 10 big companies in Jamaica, basically trying their hand at getting a license, getting a setup down here, basically seeing where they can enter the market. And I'm like, they ain't dumb. That they ain't doing nothing dunce. This is something here, so might as well I keep pushing until I have my own farm. Then I can look at them and be like, hey, so I got the setup right, and I can supply you weed, right? So let's do some proper paperwork.
Right. Definitely makes sense, man. It's a blessing, man, that being able to step into a new realm and just push it as far as you can, bro.
Yeah. It's a blessing for me because in what 2012 when I started the journey, don't know when this journey will end. More likely when I'm dead, because I don't see myself ever stopping or ever stop growing weed, learning about it, or being a part of the industry. When I started in 2012, something hit me and be like, I kid you not. Randy, they're gonna start an industry. I'm like, you must be stupid, Randy. They're gonna make it still illegal until they find a way to get through for themselves. And 2015 decriminalized.
Right.
2018 we got dispensaries being open, and 2020 there are more dispensaries being open. Since after the corona incident, not really after per se, or during this whole epidemic, we've had 705 applications to date. It bumped up between what, May and now, since we did our export regulations, our export license setup, and we see a
Right.
lot of people trying their hardest to basically not just get in, but start setting up their farms. There are people now setting up farms all over Jamaica that we don't even know about. But their more overall aim, more likely, is international trade.
Right. Yeah, man. That's a whole new level, man. That's a game changer right there.
Trust me.
Definitely.
And even like even working out the figures, that's why I'm not even so high on. Okay, I'm gonna go Canada and do an industry there, do a grow there. It's cheaper. I'm going to say that first and foremost, it's cheaper to do a farm down here in Jamaica. For your dollar, it's 25 cents here, based on the exchange rate, the pull off the dollar, and certain little things that you can get in from over the states. We don't have it here. Like I want to get my hands on a um, rosin machine, a rosin press. Um, that's just for extraction alone because uh, doing butane down here is dangerous. I've tried, almost blew myself up. It was a little mistake that almost cost me a couple flesh, couple hairs there and there. But what I realized, one of the cleanest and best extractions down here is rosin off the bat. I like my butane, I like the alcohol extraction, I like the CO2 extraction. But in terms of tools necessary, maintenance of the equipment, and overall quality, I have to give rosin hands down.
Mm. Yeah, I love the rising, man. It's really good.
I agree for sure, 100%. I haven't had too much of the butane, but there is a flavor difference.
What's
Right.
up, Brokowski?
What up, Brokowski? What's good, bro?
Yeah, there is a flavor difference. Like I've had the opportunity to sample um stuff that has been processed through CO2, stuff that has been processed through alcohol. My alcohol extractions, we have what is known as Kulu down here. Um, it's a high proof rum, so you can do extractions with that and butane. There is a slight difference in my book because I'm very sensitive to anything being added to the weed, whether it be a synthetic hormone or synthetics overall. I taste that. I taste the difference in the weed because I've had organic to way chemical to no organic, just basically put in soil and water to it's basically a wide spectrum. So when it comes on to taste, I'm very sensitive towards the taste. Didn't enjoy butane as much when I got the overall resin organic in my system. That does wonders to me. I
Right.
get to like the overall high and feel, and it just makes me calmer in some cases of the strain, more active mentally in some cases of the strain. It's just a difference that I notice, and I'm like, I can't go back to smoking anything non-organic. I can't have any oils or anything done non-organic. I got to be organic, organic, organic. Even in my edibles, it's like I got to get natural fruits to do my fruit mixes and all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah, man. That's what's up, bro. Definitely.
Cheers, Brooklyn OG.
OG
Cheers,
and
Brooklyn.
that, man. I can't see all of that. That must be
I'm, look-
looking.
I'm looking at YouTube.
Oh yeah, I can't see none of that.
Yeah, bless up to everyone tuning in. I didn't put the links out properly, I should say, but I'm grateful for the people in the chat that are looking in, listening. It's been what, almost a year or two since I've done anything on YouTube, so it's kind of weird coming back. At the same time, I'm more eager now to share the information that I acquired in the 2 years away. I grew a lot, I learned a lot, got over myself, which was the good thing. Realized I can't be too gung ho about this and I have to grow up and mature in my decision makings.
Oh yeah, I think we all do as we grow. We don't grow as we grow.
So what are the additional information do I have? I got some articles here. Oh, I got an article for you guys. It's one of the best articles I've read regarding the ganja industry to date here. It's actually from the head or the founder or CEO of Jcana. She dropped this article after some claims that, oh, Africa Canopy had to pull out because of this and that in Jamaica. And I'm like, really now? They pulled out because they came in and, in Jamaican terms, couldn't match the situation. They couldn't see what potential growth they had, and no offense, they wasted it. Instead of like, what I'm realizing, even the industry over there, they're not going to the people that have smoked this plant for how many years, that have grown the plant. They're like, okay, we have these studies. We're going to go by these studies and we're going to do it this way. We're going to exempt the small farmers, exempt the people that have been in a part of the industry and building it, the creator of the strains themselves, and just say, "Ah, we got this. We're going to do this." And when they meet their hiccups, it where they blame something other from them not fully realizing the situation or getting the required help or required knowledge from the people in the industry. For me, growing ganja for so many years, I had to seek out or go around people that are part of the overall ganja scene, from elders to the new age, anyone and everyone that has touched on ganja. I want to know what information you got. Because in the beginning of the stream, Pharaoh touched on a very good point. There are multiple ways of popping seeds, multiple ways of germinating, multiple grow methods that I may not use, you may use, someone else may use. There are multiple ways of getting this thing done. Was someone saying something?
No,
Oh,
but that's the beautiful part about it. There's so many different ways. The versatility of the weed.
Yeah, ganja's definitely great medicine, man. It allows a lot of people to come together, do a lot of different healing processes.
okay, I can't find the article, but I have it next time. It's basically how the ganja industry in Jamaica has never been greener, meaning we are now
Might have lost him again.
Uh, but hopefully he comes. Hopefully he can make it back.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of good knowledge, man, coming out of Jamaica, man. It's truly a blessing to see them elevation, that elevation and that development, being able to export and do different things with this plant that they always have really taken very serious culturally.
Oh yeah, it goes way back.
Right.
I hope one day to have some good quality Jamaican weed. Might have to visit one day for sure.
Definitely.
That would be a blessing to go down there and just hang out with Randy and smoke on the local stuff that keeps everything beautiful in Jamaica.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Go up to the mountains and the valleys and smoke that real deal.
And feel them Rasta vibes.
Right. Hell yeah. Oh, I'm medicated. I'm about to be
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. That Agent Orange, some good medicine.
right. Definitely is, man. Brooklyn OG.
He's probably waiting in the background the whole time.
And the Gronkowski, Mr. Green Potts, Nitro Nomad. Yeah, man. I'm excited because I got two of them Obama cushions to pop.
Yeah, those are gonna be awesome.
Hopefully they're females.
And may the odds forever be in your favor.
Man,
I think I'm the only one watching though.
I gotta figure out how to get some phones down real quick. I might have to try those pucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get a cloner to you.
Oh man, no, it ain't no problem. I said I'll be straight. Figure it out.
I can get it in the box pretty small. You just have to source a couple of parts local.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think them pucks might work. I just have to get Clonex, maybe aloe vera or something like that, and try it that way. Make sure I put a humidity dome over it. You know what I mean?
That's the way I started doing them, and I had somewhere between, and this is what the newbie experience, a newbie doing it anyways, but I want to say I had between 50 and 75% go on them. Whereas with my aeroponic cloner, I had more like 80% to 100% every day, all day.
Right. Well, yeah, man. How's them clones going you took?
They're going pretty good so far. The Agent Orange takes the cloning a lot easier than the ATF for sure.
Yeah.
The ATF sometimes it gets finicky, so I should at least get one for this feminized bean project to be able to do a cross. So that's exciting.
Right.
I can do another run of clones after this to be able to keep my perpetual going, but I'm more worried about playing around with the feminized bean thing.
You're gonna have to make room for that MTF, man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be next. That's gonna be next. I'm gonna find a nice female out of that and mother her out. And
Hello. All right. All right. Give me a minute.
yeah,
Oh, not you. My bad. The phone
I'm
right
gonna
there.
find a good female out of that, and I'm gonna take some cones and make some runs on her, and then I'm gonna start a feminized bean project on her as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I may even try a MTF and ATF cross. I think it's already been done, but it'd still be cool to see what came out of it.
Right.
Because they're both like 60/40s but polar opposites. The MTF is more like a indica dominant, and the ATF is more sativa dominant.
Mm. But that sounds like it'll be some fire. Once it's done, when you get it all ready with them sugars.
Oh yeah, just the taste, the flavor profile is supposed to be really good with the chocolatey flavor and the earthy notes.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's good, man.
I'm definitely excited about it. You'll know for sure firsthand. I'll
Oh
make
yeah.
sure
You'll see the difference.
I'll make sure I can get you some of that finished result because that should be pretty tasty.
Right. I bet it will be, man. Oh, well, yeah. Damn, Randy, where's Randy at?
Mm. What did you say? His phone died last time.
Yeah, it overheated or something. I gotta get off of here for a second.
I'm back, and yeah, this I'm going to do it for an hour, the live stream for an hour because it seems to be really this app seems to be really overheating my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I gotta make a run real quick, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a
No
blessing,
problem.
man. Definitely look forward to seeing more shows, man.
Yeah, I plan to do more live streams, more podcasting, basically putting more information out there. And as I go around the different companies, get to give you the insider reviews.
Right. Yeah,
So
man. I'll catch you all on the next go round, man. Much
no
love.
problem. It's a pleasure having you guys here.
Peace,
Thank you,
brother.
bro.
Yeah, that's up.
Much
So
love.
I'm gonna go ahead and just end the live stream here. not just due to technical difficulties, but I don't believe in really going over and over in the live stream right now. Not much chatting, not too much chatting. But yeah, thanks Michigan for being on the live stream. I said
Oh yeah,
uh,
my
we'll be
pleasure.
basically touching more in the future on the different grows when we have stuff in the garden, different methods at the same time dropping more information about ganja here. I'm grateful that you guys targeted some questions at me. Basically asked about Jamaica, the grow here, and what I do, so that those that are listening from Jamaica can realize it's easy to grow. We have the ability to grow 5 plants per household, so if you want to grow your own medicine, you can do so without having to go
Right,
source it from a dispensary, wherever you get it from. So as we move
right,
forward, we'll be basically dropping little grow tips, making your soil, what can be added, just popping your seeds per se, and the different treatments you can do, the different deficiencies that you can see, just giving them a overview of how we grow or how to grow ganja per se.
right.
Yeah. So I said it's a pleasure being back on the live stream, being back on YouTube. I got to meet individuals such as Michigan Native and a whole group of people that will be on here, along with the Jamaicans that I'm going to get involved, the different people. So thank you all for tuning in. Next week, Thursday, we'll do another live stream. More likely have something recorded. So I'll basically be dropping a podcast at the same time. So it's a double whammy for next week because I just recently moved to Montego Bay and basically settling myself in the new environment, work and everything. I've not gotten much chance to do any recording since recently. But this live stream, hopefully it was informative, entertaining, and you learned something.
Right, right.
Any anything to say, Michigan?
Much love. It's a pleasure being on here, and thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure, brother. So thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe during these times and continue growing. Even if it's a one plant in your bedroom, continue growing.
Oh yeah, much love.